What's going on, everyone? So welcome to my latest video. This is part of a series where I focus on a specific director, rank that director's work from worst to best. Done such directors in the past such as Quentin Tarantino, Christopher Nolan, Tim Burton. Those directors and many more, you can check out my director playlist down below. But guys, you clicked on this video, so you know it. This time around, I'm focusing on Luca Guadagnino's films and ranking them from worst to best. Now, as of filming this video, which is May of 2024, he has done 8 feature-length films, so I'll be ranking them from 8 being his worst to 1 being his best, and of course, my humble opinion. This will not include any TV movies, TV shows, music videos, short films, none of that. Just specifically speaking, feature-length films. So I'll be ranking them again from 8 being his worst to 1 being his best, in my humble opinion. And I will be looking forward to seeing your ranking of his work in the comment section down below. But guys, enough exposition. Let's get started. So kicking things off, number 8, we have The Protagonist. This is a film that came out in 1999. This was his directorial debut. And I would say the only reason why you should check out this movie is if you're like myself and trying to watch Luca Guadagnino's films, all of them. Other than that, this is a movie you want to avoid because I found it to be pretty disappointing. It's got an intriguing premise, but unfortunately the execution left a lot to be desired. And yeah, that's why it's my number 8. I will say it is on YouTube for free. So if you guys do want to check it out, it is on that platform. So yeah. That's my number 8. Next up, my number 7, we have Melissa P. This is a movie that came out in 2005. And similar to The Protagonist, it is a film that you can find on YouTube for free, which is awesome. But similar to The Protagonist, it is a disappointing movie. It's got an intriguing premise, but the execution is problematic. And at the same time, I think it's only slightly better than Protagonist. Like, again, I wouldn't recommend watching this movie unless you're like myself, trying to watch all Luca Guadagnino's films. Other than that, I really wasn't a fan of this movie, and yeah, that's why it's my number 7. Next up, my number 6. This is a movie I liked a little bit more than these two, and I do think that this is the one that got him on track to what we all know him as now. And that is my number 6. We have I Am Love. This came out in 2009, and it has Tilda Swinton in the lead role. This is one of those movies where I like the setting. I think that the acting is quite strong. Cinematography is good. All those elements you'll see later on in Luca Guadagnino films and how they are quite strong. And you get a taste of that in this movie. But other than that, this movie I really wasn't that big of a fan of. I felt it was a mixed bag of a movie. I liked it better than his other 2 movies. And you definitely get a sense that he is getting stronger as a director. But unfortunately, I thought it was a pretty middle-of-the-road movie. Although I do like the ending. So I would say, give this movie a shot. You might like it. I have seen some people have this higher up on their list for Luca Guadagnino's films, and I can totally respect that. But for me, I thought it was mixed, and yeah, that is why it's my number 6. Next up, my number 5, we have Bigger Splash. This came out in 2015, stars Tilda Swinton, Ralph Fiennes, Dakota Johnson, and right away, those 3 are really good. I like the acting. I like their interactions with one another. I also think that it is great how the setting really comes to life, which is something that we come to expect from Luca Guadagnino films. Like, we know that he is very much so focused on the setting and making it feel like a living, breathing character, and this is definitely the case with The Bigger Splash. I will say that I thought this movie was just okay because the story did kind of seem a little bit aimless at times, but overall, this is definitely worth a shot, and it's a step in the right direction for Luca Guadagnino's work, and yeah, that's why that's my number 5. Next up, the top 4, these are all ones that I love. And kicking things off, my number 4, we have Bones and All. This came out in 2022. This was one of my favorite films of said year. And I think it's excellent. I think this is a great, great film. I love how it combines many different genres. Yes, the subject matter is hard to stomach, if you will. But at the same time, it's still a really well-crafted film. Great performances. Love the score by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. Love the ending. It's an emotional gut punch and just an overall filmic experience. I love the cinematography. It's really, really good. Just an overall really well put together film. As you see, I don't own it on physical media. I do want to own it on physical media, but the Blu-ray is just so expensive right now. It's between $25 to $30. So I'm hoping that it does go down in price, because once it does, I will 100% be owning this on Blu-ray, because I really do like Bones and All, and that's why it's my number 4. Next up, my number 3, as of filming this video, I don't know if this is going to be coming out on Blu-ray or 4K. I'm hoping it does get a 4K release, fingers crossed. But my number 3, this is the most recent entry, and this is Challengers. Challengers is excellent. I think it is a masterpiece. I saw it twice in theaters, once on IMAX, and then the second time in Dolby. And when I saw it in Dolby, that was when I decided to switch my rating from a 4.75 out of 5 to a 5 out of 5. I think this is a masterpiece. This is a great combination of genres. It is a sports film, it's a romance, it's a drama, and I would also argue a thriller. Great performances. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross provide the score for this film. Love the nonlinear storytelling. Love the ending. Just an overall great film. And as of filming this video, this is my favorite film of 2024. But again, I'm filming this in May of 2024, so that could change because there's still 7 more months as to filming this video. But yeah, I love challengers, and that's why it's my number 3. Next up, my number 2. This is what actually introduced me to Luca Guadagnino. Like, this was the first film of his that I saw. And my number 2, we have Call Me By Your Name. This is one of my favorite films of 2017. I am very happy that it got a Best Picture nomination in terms of the Academy Awards. Very much so deserving. And what I really appreciate about this film is that it is the first in what was originally proposed to be a trilogy, but you wouldn't think that watching it. You would think that it is a standalone film. And that's what I love about Luca Guadagnino, is that the writing combined with the directing really makes it so that way the film does work on its own, whilst at the same time, if there was a sequel coming out, it would be more than welcoming. Now, will there be a sequel? I don't know. Probably not. But if there is, I'll be more than welcome to check it out. But as it stands, I'm very happy that this film is able to work on its own, and it does. Great performances. The setting of Italy really comes to life. It makes you want to visit. The ending is just an emotional gut punch. Really good. Love the characters. Love the storytelling. Just a very, very well-told slice-of-life film, and I love Call Me By Your Name. That's why it's my number 2. Next up, my number 1. This is going to be a controversial pick. I know it for sure. But my number 1, my favorite Luca Guadagnino film is Suspiria, 2018. Yeah, I think this film is great. I think that not only is it a rare exception of a remake that's better, in my opinion, but I also think that it warrants its existence. It is one of the best remakes, but it also is a film that is incredible. Similar to Call Me By Your Name, this is a film that was originally supposed to set up sequels. But at the same time, it stands on its own. And that is how a first entry in a proposed series should be. And I think that studios should look at this film as an example on how to actually make a first entry in a proposed series. You need to make it so that way a film works on its own, and Suspiria does. Love the makeup. I love the score. Tommy York's score is incredible. Love the visual effects. Love the acting. Love the music. The choreography is really, really good in terms of the musical numbers. Well, not really musical numbers, but the dance scenes, I should say. It's just an overall really well-told film. I love the fact that the story's told, I believe it's in like 7 acts. Just a masterpiece. But what I especially like is that you can show this film to 10 people and you will get 10 different reactions. It's a Rorschach test of a film, and I understand why some people might not love it. I understand why some people might think it's just okay or good. But for me, it is a masterpiece. One of my favorite horror films and one of my favorite films of 2018. And yeah, that's why it's my number 1. But yeah, guys, usually after the end of this, I try to talk a little bit about the director and if I'm a fan of his or not. And I will say this, Luca Guadagnino, overall, I'm a fan of his. Although I will say that it took me a little bit to really get in tune with him. Like, I would say this, if I started watching his films, like, from the beginning, from The Protagonist, I would have been a fan of his until probably, honestly, Call Me By Your Name. Which is funny because that's what made me try to seek out a lot of his work and watch his entire filmography. But overall, when he is firing on all cylinders, which 2010s onward he is, I love the fact that he focuses so much on the setting, characters, really coming to life, and at the same time just is very sensual in his approach with filmmaking. I love the fact that he also shoots on film, which is great, and that he has it where his films are really focused on actually having it where the score is a big proponent in the sound mixing, and that's something I really appreciate. So overall, I'm a big fan of Luca Guadagnino, and I'm looking forward to see what he is going to have come out next in the 2020s. But yeah, that is my ranking for Luca Guadagnino's films. Let me know your ranking of his in the comment section below. And as always, don't forget the subscription, notification bell, follow me on Letterboxd, and I'll catch you guys later.